Hi guys, Big Monday here, and let's talk about talent trees. So, in the 7.00 update for Dota, we now have this new talent tree concept. Stat upgrades as you level up are being dropped. There's going to be no more stat updates. Instead of that, you get this talent tree. And what this allows you to do as you reach certain levels, as you level up, you pick one talent or the other. And this allows you to customize your hero to behave in a certain way. So, it's going to be level 10, 15, 20, and 25. Now, you may think the level 25, that's going to take forever, but there are XP scalings. Level 25 now takes as much experience as level 23 did previously. So, you're going to level up faster. There are additional bounty runes, so if you're a support and you're just standing around in the jungle babysitting a carry while farming, you're going to get more chance to level up. I mean, the carry's going to say, give it me, I'm the carry, but tell him to go fuck himself, because respect your supports, man. Yeah, so, anyway, I digress. So, this is what it looks like in-game. When you level up, you get the plus symbol above the talent tree, and you get to pick from one of a set different talents. Now, I'm not going to go over every hero, but I will talk a little bit about the way I think this is kind of going to work and why they've done it. So, in Dota, there is, when it comes to balancing a hero, there is often a problem that a small change synergizing with other aspects will often make that hero really OP, just at a small change, or it will nerf them really hard. It will just nerf them into not being played anymore. Sometimes you can make two very small, subtle changes to a hero, and those two heroes being played together then become an unstoppable combo. What this allows, this talent tree, it allows an additional way to balance a hero, because now we have 8 new places you can put things that make a hero powerful. So let's say in this case, for example, let's say you want to Wraith King is really OP early game, but late game he struggles, and you want to fix that as Ice Frog, you change this Vampiric Aura lifesteal to be 25% instead of 20%. And that allows you to fine-tune just the late game of that hero much more effectively. It allows you to make much smaller changes, ones that won't necessarily synergize with every team. And it also adds this extra level of complexity and depth, because usually if you look at the talents, by taking them in different combinations, it will change the style of your hero. Some heroes, for example, will, if you take one set of talents, you'll end up with an initiator build. If you take a different set of talents, you would end up with a carry build. Others are, you might end up with right click, you might end up with nuke. Now this one in particular I quite like, because Wraith King, when he hits level 25, this is effectively a level 4 to his ult. This one. Now, this particular, they're using this to fix a massive problem with your hero, in that with Wraith King, sometimes in a fight you end up, you can't die, but you can't really deal any damage. So the enemy team just ignores you, you do nothing, and that's what this does. It gives you extra Vampiric Aura lifesteal, so you're not dying, but you're keeping the rest of your team alive longer. In other cases, like if you're against an anti-mage, a Kotl, a Nyx assassin, sometimes you will die in a fight because you're out of mana, and then all of a sudden you're a useless hero. And that's what this fixes, but it only fixes that late game. So it's gonna take a while. You're gonna have to. There are choices to be made here, and that's the important bit, that there are choices to be made mid-game, and you're going to have to choose which ability effects is appropriate for the situation. Now, some of these are just to add style and flair to a hero, some of them are just to effectively give them an extra level on a certain ability. Like Vengeful Spirit, for example, this is another good case. Magic Missile pierces spell immunity, so when you hit level 25 with Venge, it's like you get effectively you get a free Ags upgrade to your first ability. That's effectively what it's doing for you. we've got choices here. Do you want extra damage from Magic Missile? Do you want more all stats? I mean, Vengeful Spirit's an initiator, so if you're dying in the fights a lot, you get all stats. That gives you more armor, gives you more health, but you're not going to deal more damage. But if you're not dying in the fights, you're like, you know what, sod it, an extra 100 damage on a low cooldown, why not? So, what I do want to go over a little bit is the supports. Now, there are certain supports that, if they have a good early game, they will snowball quite hard, and they get plenty of gold, they get loads of kills, all is going well. There are other supports who just struggle to get gold full stop. And if we scroll down the list and just pick out a couple of them, if I can find Lion, because I think Lion was one of the perfect examples. So, Lion is a hero that you're kind of reliant on getting on the ganks working. If your ganks do not work, if the enemy team anticipates what's happening, or your team fucks up, you just have no gold. I mean, Lion does not have an effective way to flash farm until really late game, when you've got an Ags, for example. Even then, you don't want to use it, because Lion needs his full mana pool. Yes, he's got this amazing way to regenerate his mana very, very quickly, but he needs a full mana pool for a fight. His spells are quite expensive. So you don't really have this effective way to flash farm until you're right into the late game anyway. Now this changes that. At level 15, we get an extra 90 gold per minute, just passively. So what that does is, as a Lion, you struggle to get gold. In almost every game, you'll struggle to get gold. So, there we go. Problem solved. Problem solved. Now, if we take a hero like a Crystal Maiden, and this is where it varies a little bit. I think it was Crystal Maiden. Yeah. Hers is a bigger gold improvement, but it's later. You're going to have to wait later for this. And what I think iFrogs get trying to fix here is that you get supports like Lion, who they'll just struggle to get gold all game. If Lion doesn't get a blink, he's screwed. He can't flash farm, so he's screwed. He's reliant on ganks. Crystal Maiden, for example, however, she won't have a lot of damage output, but she has an attack speed slow and a stun on a very low duration. She's very useful early game all the time. The trouble with Crystal Maiden is when you get to late game and you get really heavily farmed carries on the other team, you get to sort of the 40-minute mark, 30 maybe 40-minute mark in a game where you have been doing fine, and all of a sudden the enemy carries get enough damage that they're pretty much one-shotting you. You just don't have time to react, and all of a sudden you go from being very useful with just a small, very cheap item set to needing some big items to keep you alive. And that's what this solves. That's what this solves. Once you get to that point in the game, you're like, okay, Volvo's going to give you that for free. And you got to reach level 20 before you're going to start getting a decent amount of gold. But it gets to this point. It fixes this problem Crystal Maidens have late game, where effectively you have to turn around to your team and say, I need farm priority now because I'm going to get one shot. And who's going to give that to Crystal Maiden? It's just not going to happen. So this kind of fixes that. It allows you to get that gold you need to buy that big item you need to keep you alive. If you're struggling, it's going to let you get a BKB. If you're really that screwed, it'll let you get Glimmer Cape. If you want to get a 4-staff, no problem. Sheep Stick, so you're finally going to be able to get some big items late game. Give you extra disables, give you extra ways to survive. Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. But this comes as a balance in that Crystal Maiden is useful without items up until that point in the game. So we leave her gold till later. We give that massive boost till later. Again, this is what I mean about the balance changes. So, like I say, I'm not going to go through every hero. Just bear in mind when you're picking your talents, really think about how they're going to how this talent is going to impact the game, because they can make a massive difference. So, thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye bye.